but I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray, as if by instinct, precisely upon the damned spot. And now have I not told you that what you mistake for madness is but over-acuteness of the senses? Now, I say there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury, as the beating of the drum stimulates the soldier into courage. But even yet I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how steadily I could to maintain the ray upon the eye. Meanwhile, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, I say, louder every moment. Do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous. So I am. And now, at this dead hour of night, amid the dreadful silence of the old house, so strange a noise as this excited me to uncontrollable terror. Yet, for some minutes longer, I refrained and stood still. But the beating grew louder. I thought the heart must burst. And now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw open the lantern and leaped into the room. He shrieked only once. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and pulled a heavy bed over him. Then I smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes the heart beat on with a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eyes would trouble me no more. If you still think me mad, you would think no longer when I described the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night I wanned and worked hastily, but in silence. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head, the arms, and the legs. And then I took 3 planks from the flooring of the chamber and deposited all between the scatterings. Then I replaced the board so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. And there was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatsoever. I had been too wary for that. A tub had caught all. Ha ha! Then, when I had made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went to open it for a light heart. For what had I now to fear? There entered 3 men, who introduced themselves with perfect severity as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighborhood during the night. Suspicious of foul play had been aroused. Information had been lodged at the police office, and they, the officers, had been deputed to search the premises. I smiled. For what I had to fear, I bade the gentleman welcome. I bade the gentleman welcome. The shriek, I said, was my own in a dream. The old man, I mentioned, was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them his treasures, secure, undisturbed. In the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought chairs into the room, and desired them here to rest from their fatigues, while I myself, in the wild artistry of my perfect triumph, placed my own seat on the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. The officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them I was singularly at ease. They sat, and while I answered cheerfully, they chatted familiar things. But ere long, I felt myself getting pale and wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied a ringing in my ears. But they still sat and still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. It continued, and became more distant. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued and gained defensiveness until at length I found that the voice was not within my ears. The noise was not within my ears. No doubt, I now grew very pale, but I talked more fluently with a heightened voice. Yet the sound increased, and what could I do? It was a low, dull, quick sound, such a sound as watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I gasped for breath, and yet the others heard it not. I talked more quietly, more vehemently, but the noise steadily increased. I rose and argued about triumphs in the high key with the violent gesticulations, but the noise steadily increased. Why would they not be gone? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides, as if excited to fury by the observation of the men, but the noise steadily increased. Oh God, what could I do? I foamed, I raved, I swore. I swung the chair upon which I had been sitting, and grated it upon the boards. But the loud noise arose all, and continually increased. It grew louder, and still the men chatted presently and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God! No! They heard, they suspected, they knew. They were making a mockery of my horror. This I thought, and this I think. But anything that was better than this agony, anything was more tolerable than this derision. I could bear this hypocritical smile no longer. I felt that I must scream or die. And now, again. Hark! Louder! Villains! I shrieked. Dissemble no more. I admit the deed. Tear up the planks. Here! It is the beating of his hideous heart. And that is the end of The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe.